My Utmost for His Highest, author Oswald Chambers, printing 1992 from the 1935 edition. Do you now believe? By this we believe. Jesus answered them, do you now believe? John 16:30-31. Now we believe, but Jesus asked, do you? Indeed, the hour is coming that you will leave me alone. Many Christian workers have left Jesus Christ alone and yet tried to serve him out of a sense of duty or because they sense a need as a result of their own discernment. The reason for this is actually the absence of the resurrection life of Jesus. Our soul has gotten out of an intimate contact with God by leaning on our own religious understanding. See Proverbs 3:5-6. This is not deliberate sin, and there is no punishment attached to it. But once a person realizes he has hindered his understanding of Jesus Christ and caused uncertainties, sorrows, and difficulties for himself, it is with shame and remorse that he has to return. We need to rely on the resurrection life of Jesus on a much deeper level than we do now. We should get in the habit of continually seeking his counsel on everything, instead of making our own common sense decisions and then asking him to bless them. He cannot bless them. It is not in his realm to do so, and those decisions are severed from reality. If we do something simply out of a sense of duty, we are trying to live up to a standard that competes with Jesus Christ. We become a prideful, arrogant person, thinking we know what to do in every situation. We have put our sense of duty on the throne of our life instead of enthroning the resurrection life of Jesus. We are not told to walk in the light or our conscience or in the light of sense of duty, but to walk in the light as he is in the light. 1 John 1:7. When we do something out of a sense of duty, it is easy to explain the reasons for our actions to others. But when we do something out of obedience to the Lord, there can be no other explanation, just obedience. This is why a saint can be so easily ridiculed and misunderstood. Excuse me. What do you want the Lord to do for you? What do you want me to do for you? He said. Lord, that I may receive my sight. Luke 18:41. Is there something in your life that not only disturbs you, but makes you a disturbance to others? If so, it is always something you cannot handle yourself. Then those who went before warned him that he should be quiet, but he cried out all the more. Be persistent with your disturbance until you get face to face with the Lord himself. Don't deify common sense. To sit calmly by instead of creating disturbance serves only to deify our common sense. When Jesus asked what he wanted him to do for us about the incredible problem that is confronting us, remember that he doesn't work in common sense ways, but only in supernatural ways. Look at how we limit the Lord by only remembering what we have allowed him to do for us in the past. He says, I've always failed there, and we say, I've always failed there, and I always will. Consequently, we do not ask for what we want. Instead, we think, it is ridiculous to ask God to do this. It is an impossibility. It is the very thing for which we have to ask. It is not an impossible thing, and it is not a real disturbance. And God will do what is absolutely impossible. This man received his sight, but the most impossible thing for you is to be so closely identified with the Lord that there is literally nothing of your old life remaining. God will do it if you will ask him, but you have to come to the point of believing him to be almighty. We find faith not by only believing what Jesus says, but even more, by trusting Jesus himself. If we only look at what he says, we will never believe. Once we see Jesus, the impossible things he does in our lives becomes as natural as breathing. The agony we suffer is only the result of the deliberate shallowness of our own heart. We won't believe, and we won't let go by severing the line that secures the boat to the shore We prefer to worry. The piercing question. Do you love me? John 21:17. Peter's response to this piercing question is considerably different from the bold defiance he exhibited only a few days before when he declared, "Even if I have to die with you, I will not deny you." Matthew 26:35, and see also 33 and 34 verses. Our natural individuality, our natural self, boldly speaks out and declares its feelings. But the true love within our inner spirit self can be discovered only by experiencing the hurt of this question of Jesus Christ. Peter loved Jesus in the way any natural man loves a good person. Yet there is nothing but emotional love. It may reach deeply into your natural self, but it never penetrates to the spirit of the person. True love never simply declares itself, Jesus said. Whoever confesses me before men, that is, confesses his love for him by everything he does, not merely by his words. Him the Son of Man will also confess before the angels of God, Luke 12:8. Unless we are experiencing the hurt of facing every deception about ourselves, we have hindered the work of the Word of God in our lives. The Word of God inflicts hurts on us more than the sin ever could, because sin dulls our senses. But this question of the Lord intensifies our sensitivities to the point that this hurt produced by Jesus is the most exquisite pain conceivable. It hurts not only on a natural level, but it also on the deeper spiritual level. For the Word of God is living and powerful, piercing even to the division of soul and spirit, to the point that no deception can remain. Hebrews 4:12. When the Lord asks us this question, it is impossible to think and respond properly, because when the Lord speaks directly to us, pain is too intense. It causes such a tremendous hurt that any part of our life which may be out of line with His call will feel the pain. There is never any mistaking the pain of the Lord's word by His children. But the moment that pain is felt, it is the very moment in which God reveals His truth to us.